Hi, welcome to Tea Time. I'm Ashley Adamson, and this is unedited and unscripted. We're just gonna get real and talk about some topics. Today's topic is sex, and we're gonna talk a lot of it in the context of being a trans woman. So if that's something you're interested in, let's begin. But before we tap into that, I just also like to thank you all for leaving some comments and feedback when I was asking for it on episode 6 about length, as well as kind of like what we cover. Thank you, Rachel, for calling out that, it seems like we can rush through things in 10 minutes. So hopefully this one will be less topics, which is just sex. And I'll keep it to around 10 minutes because that seems like it's a good length. But without further ado, let's talk about sex. Oh, that's a bit hot. All right, so this topic kind of was prompted by my experience last night. I had sex last night. It was really good. I was, after the sex, I was taking a shower and reflecting on my own being. After you have sex, it's sort of this moment where you have an after sex feeling. I don't know what it's like for you, but for me, I feel like my body finishes processing whatever was being processed in the bedroom. And we explored some kinks yesterday, and I tried some things out, and it actually really helped me a lot in working with my my own inner dysphoria. Trans folks out there, when you're feeling this inner dysphoria, like, how does it come up for you and how do you recognize it? What does it feel like? For me, it feels like this masculinity of this old world that I lived in. And sometimes I experience that inside of me, which makes me feel dysphoric because it makes me feel not real, not authentic. And I think that's probably one of the things we really don't want to feel as trans folks, is inauthentic, not being real. Early in my transition, it felt often like I was just faking it or pretending to be a woman. And that caused me a lot of dysphoria because I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. And even when I may convey that, I wasn't feeling comfortable inside me. So what I discovered in this sex that we had, which I'll tell you a little bit more details now because this is the tea and we talk about everything, is my exploration in something that was turning me on was actually helping kind of reverse it was helping me rehash some of the things that I hadn't processed inside myself. Now, as a trans person, once you start transitioning, sex kind of changes. At least it changed for me. I don't know how it is for you. How has it changed for you? For me, sex changed because the gender roles changed. I was a man in the bedroom until 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. I guess 4 years ago because I was non-binary, but I was pretty much doing the top thing. I was being the guy, being the aggressor in the sexually welcome way with my girlfriend at the time. And, being the top, being the person that does a lot of the, sex. I like that move, sex. In that world, it became routine. It became the way that I did things. And as soon as I kind of changed genders, it's like someone just flipped the table and was like, start over again. And has that been for you once you started to transition? Did it feel like you had to completely change? It just, for me, topping and being the more dominant one was so inherently tied with my male gender that I just had to kind of push it aside and just let it go. And so now I'm the submissive in the relationship, and I'm starting to experience being a little switchy, but honestly, not much at all. And so last night, this was the interesting thing. So last night, I can't believe I'm telling you this. Last night, I told him, and I'm telling you, he was the first person I told. I guess you're the second person that I'm telling. Is that it turns me on to be pretending to be a boy being feminized as a girl with a guy. And that's like this weird thing that doesn't make any sense to me, because I'm a woman now. Why would it be, but I'm also trans, why would it be something to turn me on to pretend to be a boy and then being feminized back into a girl again? And I didn't really understand it, and I've been kind of ashamed of that because I waved the trans flag so high. But we worked through that in exploring and experiencing that very respectfully. And coming away from it, or during the sex, I had moments where I felt like the guy in me was coming out, but in doing that, it allowed this emergence that got recalibrated. So as I was bottoming and experiencing the sex, there were times where I felt like a boy being topped, and I would feel this flash, and then that flash would kind of move through my body, and then I'd be a girl again. And that was this alchemical magic work, because after the sex and when I was taking a shower and we were all done, I noticed inside me there were parts of myself that I didn't recognize had been still masculine, and they had been transformed into the feminine. And this was the aha moment. That experience, that desire to experience that, was to go back, now that I'm in a safe space internally in my femininity, was to go back and work through different parts of my own being that are still trapped within a masculine frame. And so by working with those, I was able to recalibrate and retrain myself into my feminine form. Yeah. How has sex been for you in terms of your transition? Has it helped you work with your own dysphoria? In what ways has it brought it up? And how have you managed and moved through that transformation and alchemy? I'd love to hear from you. Please write some comments down below. Maybe we can cover more sex topics. Topic suggestions are always welcome, by the way. And on that note, one of y'all asked for seeing what this painting is behind. I think it was like Kugos. You have the fish picture on your profile. So I'm going to show you now. And yeah, I wanted to do coming out, what's next, but I'll cover that another time. I'm really just being called to talk about sex today. So there you go. Let's check out the painting though. I'd love to tell you about it. It's a very special and important piece. And I have another piece that I also want to show you. So here we go, room tour with Ashley. So this is the first piece. And this is two koi fish swimming around each other with what looks like black holes. And what it means to me is it means yin and yang, and it means the nothingness and the balance between nothingness and everything. And they're done in a way so that they don't look too obvious, because I also didn't want the form of it to be so commodified that it was easy to just say, oh, that's the yin yang. Because a part of the nothing and the everything is this idea that if you label it, it becomes something that cannot be everything. So by allowing it to be a sort of tangible yin yang, it's a yin yang, but it's also not a yin yang, which gives it this air of mystery that you can just kind of stare at it for a very long period of time. And I love the black because it's sort of like it's floating in space, and it talks about kind of like the nature of black holes, or it refers to black holes with these black holes that are just like, you know, this dark matter, this mysterious dark matter that holds the secrets of the universe. And then there's this one, which is above my bed. And when I was a kid, I used to have a space poster of the 7 planets. And my friend painted this over our hands. So we took black paint and imprinted our hands with intent, posted it onto the wall. And then she painted the whole solar system, and all those little dots there are the moons. I don't know if it's focusing properly. But yeah, those are all the moons. And that says abundance and flow in Chinese. I'm part Chinese, and it's for manifestation and bringing in abundance. So those are the two paintings that I'm really happy about. There's also that flower of life in the background. And then I have those cool little lights. So that's the little tour of my room. Thanks for joining me today. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are on sex and what other topics would be interesting to you. I'm starting to realize I need to focus on one topic, and also that I really need to just work with whatever's calling me for the day so we can have a really great, chill, awesome tea time. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow, or I hope to see you tomorrow. And yeah, have a great and wonderful day. Mwah. Bye.